I'm John O'Leary, Managing Editor of Better, Faster, Cheaper, and I'm talking today with Jonathan Walters, Staff Correspondent for Governing Magazine. Jonathan, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
We're going to be talking about innovation in state and local government. Jonathan has been studying innovation for more than 20 years. So I'm going to ask you, state and local government doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to innovation. Is that poor reputation deserved, or does government do better than we think it does?
Yeah, I think it's not deserved. Although, when I first started covering government and innovation back in the early 80s, I think it was probably a little more deserved than it is now. The huge change that I noticed through the 80s and into the early 90s that was important, and that I think got more and more governments focused on things like performance and results and innovation, is that there was a generation of elected politicians who figured out, and this was particularly at the municipal level, guys like Richie Daley, Tommy Menino, that good management was good politics. And therefore, they put a premium on high-performing organizations and innovation because they understood that was going to be good for their political careers, and that has proved out. And I think as that first generation came through, you're seeing subsequent elected officials who get it as well and have sort of picked up that ball. So I think now more than ever, that reputation is not deserved. And it's not hard to go around the country and look at states and local governments where a lot of interesting things are happening.
Let me ask you, you write about a culture of innovation in government. What characteristics are on display in a public organization that has a culture of innovation?
Very often it starts at the top. If you're not getting support from your top elected folks, and then their high-level appointees that they've brought in, it's going to be very tough to move any bureaucracy or any organization, even the smallest local government. So what I have seen in governments where interesting things are happening is it starts at the top. You got a governor like Martin O'Malley in Maryland who's doing state staff and has really opened things up for his top-level staff and then those folks below them to try new and different ways to get the work of government done.
Give me some examples of some of the best innovations, some of the most innovative state and local governments. You mentioned Maryland. Where else are great things happening?
Yeah, Maryland's right up there. There's pockets of excellence everywhere. I think Maryland is probably the state that's in the lead as far as a general approach to performance-based government and encouraging innovation. But Washington State is another place under Gregoire, starting actually with Governor Gary Locke, who was also a guy who really was interested in performance and results, and was also a guy who would back his folks up and allow them to try new and different things, and if they failed, wouldn't kill them for that. Local governments all over the place. You look at, to me, one of the most amazing stories is the Los Angeles Police Department under Mayor Bratton, where
Commissioner Bratton.
Commissioner Bratton.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. He guy with probably the fewest per capita officers on the street, yet doing amazing things, an amazing job, because he instilled sort of a culture among his his mid-level key officers that we're going to do things differently. And so Washington State Department of DOT, they're leading the pack. Their Department of Human Services leading the pack. I was just down in Louisiana recently. Their Department of Community Services.
Good to hear Louisiana mentioned in
and I tried
innovative government.
I tried to plug them. Their Office of Community Services, which does child and family welfare, has launched this sort of real focus on data and tracking very carefully the health and well-being of at-risk families and kids, and then they're starting to do some things very differently based on the numbers that they're seeing coming in.
If you could give folks out there who work in a public agency one piece of advice for trying to be open to innovation.
My argument all along has been, look, you do the most important work in this country. Right. And you should be proud of that. Figure out, how it is that you help and who it is you help day in and day out. That's going to make your job more satisfying, but B, it might start giving you some ideas about how to do what you do more intelligently, more efficiently.
So look at the results you're having on real people's lives, to think about measuring and evaluating those results and getting at different, faster, better, cheaper ways of getting to those results, right?
Correct. It'll be happier for you, and it'll be happier for the government you work for.
Jonathan, you've been covering innovations in American government, the awards program here at the Kennedy School for quite some time. How often are those programs replicated elsewhere?
It's surprising how frequently and how often they've been replicated and how widespread a lot of them have become. You know, you look at a program like CompStat, which was data-driven policing, which became CityStat in Baltimore, which is now StateStat in Maryland, and virtually every state in the union now has some stat program. Charter schools, when Minnesota did that, that was recognized by the Innovation in American Government Awards, and that's, you know, we know the degree to which that has taken off. So there's numerous examples of good ideas that were first recognized by the Innovation in American Government program. Look at some of the programs that folks, you know, maybe wouldn't recognize as having such impact. They've been picked up all over the place, and in small and large ways. So it's rather remarkable, and it's an ongoing debate that folks who aren't familiar with the innovations program continue to have, which is, do these things really last? And the answer to that is, yeah, they last, and they last a long time.
Jonathan, what would be some good resources for someone who's looking to learn more about how to bring innovation into their public sector agency?
Yeah, obviously the Ash Institute is huge. I mean,
thank you. The Ash Institute, Better, Faster, Cheaper, lots of resources.
One stop shop. Governing's been covering this since, you know, fairly intensely since 1988. I've been writing about it since 1988. The IBM Foundation for the Business of Government has some good reports, and you can go on their website and pick stuff up. So it's not hard, but I would start with that.
Jonathan, this has been terrific. Jonathan Walters with Governing Magazine. I'm John O'Leary. We're for Better, Faster, Cheaper. Thanks for joining us.